Okay, well, let's begin what's trending, shall we? Reactions continue to trail the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Muhammed's statement in which he asked opposition parties to desist from bleating about the outcome of the presidential election. The Labour Party on Monday accused the minister of pushing propaganda to Nigerians, stating that only the blind will accept the outcome of the 2023 presidential election. The party further stated that Lai Muhammed's attempts in the United Kingdom and United States to redeem the grossly battered democratic credentials of the current administration is yet another tragedy of President Buhari's 8 years of leadership. Well, in the meantime, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, on Monday clarified the recent speculations and reports of his alleged detention at Heathrow Airport in the United Kingdom, stating that he was neither arrested nor did he commit any offense in the UK, but that he was only stopped for a routine immigration check because there appeared to be a duplication of his identity. Well, Obi spoke to Charles Anyogolu on Prime Time. Let's take a look.
I was never arrested. I was never detained. And I did not commit any offense. I was stopped for a routine immigration check because there appears to be a duplication of my identity. And all this lasted for maximum of 20 minutes. And I was treated in what I do with all due respect. Charles, I lived in the UK in the 90s, say from 1993 until 2005. From that 1993 till now is a period of 30 years. I have never been questioned, arrested, detained in any country in the world. I've never even been, for any reason, found myself in any manner being questioned for any offense. I've not committed any offense. So it was a routine immigration check. And it lasted, like I said, less than 20 minutes.
Well, all right, let me take some reactions. This is from Tonti, who wrote 2 things. 1, how did any reasonable person really believe he was arrested? 2, how did anybody come to the swift conclusion that APC was behind anything that happened there? Well, Baroness wrote, once again, he does not have a UK passport. He had a UK visa. I need the British government to tell me how they duplicated his visa with all his biometrics. I don't care about anything else, just that. Are we now saying that visas can be easily duplicated? Rufai, can you answer that one question?
I mean, that's a very important question, though, because the days I know that they used to duplicate visas were the days of Oluwole. You know what they call Oluwole?
What, did that work?
It worked too.
They could duplicate visas
Oji,
and you can go...
Oji, there are many people in the diaspora watching us now. Is Oluwole?
No.
They used to travel abroad.
Really?
And today, they are British citizens, they are doing well in their life. But there are many people that, if not for Oluwole, you will not be able to go. Yes.
The actual visa or the documents?
The document
to get the visa.
Okay. It's deeper than all of that, you know. But now in this day and age of biometrics and all of that. But you heard what he said there, that he was told he was being impersonated. He was briefed on that. A document was released. I have not even seen the document to the effect by the British government. And once it was cleared, he was let go. And he didn't even make any capital out of it. I think this story even came to light because of somebody that was informed about it and said, oh, I can't keep quiet. And the person put out an article or something as regards it. But you know, because it's political season, everybody makes political capital out of it. Some people have blamed the opposition. I mean, it might not be the opposition. People do things. There are fraudulent people everywhere. And the number one target you face is when you're a popular person in circulation. I'm sure people have seen tons and tons of emails of the Nigerian prince That's everywhere. People's names are even being mentioned in scams. But once he has clarified it, that's just it. And I think the most important thing is he has clarified it. He's talked about a document that was released by the United Kingdom authorities. He's even shown the document. I think in that interview he stated that he's shown it to Charles. Charles had seen it. And I think that's just it. And I think that will lay to rest the matter on ground. But it will be exacerbated because it's political season. It's as simple as that. But please, I'm not supporting fraud. I'm not supporting any level of Oluwoleism. But I'm saying it was rife at a certain point in Nigeria. But once biometrics was fixed, then all of that was fixed. So I'm not in support of it, so that people will not misquote me here.
Absolutely. Well, earlier I talked about the Labour Party accusing the opposition. You touched on the opposition. You know, the PDP also have reacted to Lai Muhammed's comment on opposition parties to desist from bleating about the outcome of the presidential election. Well, in a statement over the weekend, the PDP said Lai Muhammed is treading on the path of deceit and falsehood. They further described his comment as an attempt by the All Progressives Congress to bully and blackmail the Presidential Election Tribunal. Ayo, over to you.
Well, yes, so Alhaji Lai Muhammed did release a statement through his spokesperson, Mr. Segun Adeyemi, where he talked about the fact that they were griping about it, and he's not the first person that has spoken about it. We have heard Senator Ken Namani talk about the fact that just, get over it, and we discussed it here that you're the same party that said go to court. They want to go to court now, or they're speaking about it, and now you're trying to stifle them or tell them not to speak up. I'm glad that the PDP and the Labour Party have responded, because we talked about something earlier around the right of reply, and it's important because people are gullible. So, and by gullible, I say it not in a derogatory manner, but people absorb what they see as fact. So after a while, as Mr. Peter Obi described this, it becomes propaganda, where it seems as if there's an agenda to try to twist the facts so that people begin to believe it and then start to turn against people who feel like they've been aggrieved. That's the danger there, and that's why it's important for them to speak out. Alhaji Lai Muhammed said that, it was free, fair, the legacy of, but a number of people have come out to say that what we saw clearly was in that way. He's doing his job. We don't expect him to say differently. He's the Minister of Information and Culture working under this administration that prosecuted the elections. I don't expect him to say that the election was flawed or anything. He would defend his government. However, leaders should desist from trying to twist the fact and allow the courts to decide. It's before the courts. If they filed a petition, let it go to court. But please, we should stop saying that they should stop making noise as if they are being noisemakers or trying to disrupt the peace of Nigerians. Let us stop that. That's why, Oji, in a number of situations, when we have grievous cases like rape, they try to keep quiet, should stop talking about it, and then it continues and we don't find justice. It is important for justice to happen so that healing can occur completely.
Absolutely. Dr. Abati.
Okay, on the response of the People's Democratic Party to what Alhaji Lai Muhammed said, well, the main point that was made in that statement is that one, Alhaji Lai Muhammed was saying that opposition parties and their leaders should stop bleating. What animal bleats? Even that is a very, a very derogatory thing to say. The point to be made is that these political parties and the other presidential candidates who have gone to the tribunal, they have the right to go there, because the Constitution and Section 149 of the Electoral Act 2022 tells us that if you have any grievances, you go to the tribunal. It's part of the process. The courts look at it. So it will be wrong on the part of Alhaji Lai Muhammed or any other person to say it's offensive for you to seek redress in a court of law. Will he have preferred the alternative of people resorting to self-help? Certainly not. He being an officer in the Temple of Justice himself. Now, the PDP is now saying that Alhaji Lai Muhammed is trying to intimidate the judiciary. It's a very difficult season for the Nigerian judiciary, because so many people are very suspicious, of what the judges will do. They will say, oh, after all, the opposition is saying, go to court, go to court. So the judiciary in that regard has a responsibility to show that, it's a court of law that is committed to justice, and to make the point that their lordships cannot be intimidated. If you try to intimidate the court of law, you could be charged for contempt. There are no people who say, well, this is Nigeria, right. That these judges not human beings. Well, there are men and women of integrity on the Nigerian bench. And I'm sure with the kind of pressure that they've been exposed to, they themselves will be really concerned to make sure that they do their job and, ignore any attempt to intimidate them. The third major issue arising from that rebuttal by the PDP is that, okay, after all said and done, they say, oh, that was, a flawed election conducted, and that it was Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party that won. Okay, they made that point that way. Isn't that the substance of their petition?
Absolutely.
Before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal? So all this back and forth, we should just allow people, to do, the courts to do their work. As for Mr. Peter Obi, I had commented on that earlier. A lot of people were saying with all those allegations, they wanted to see Mr. Peter Obi on Arise TV, which some people describe as his favorite platform. Yeah. So I believe now that he has spoken on Arise TV, those persons who were asking for Peter Obi by popular demand, I hope that their demand has been met and he's been able to respond to all of those issues. But I said earlier on that it's good to give right of reply to clarify. The other part of it is that, Nigerian politics is so funny, or I guess it's the same anywhere also in other parts of the world, that if you go into it, which is why some people say they don't want to get into politics, because it's murky, because anything can be thrown at you, including the kitchen sink. If you are not careful, if you go into Nigerian politics, they will go and dig up the first man that spoke to your mommy, in the village, and say that your mother followed one man. So that's the nature of Nigerian politics. And I'm sure that anybody who goes into politics will understand that. But what you can do, if you feel like, is to clarify. And all of those people who abuse people on social media, I hope people realize that there is something called the Cybercrime Act, right? Which makes it very clear that you cannot go and abuse people electronically and assume that you can get away with it. If the people decide to follow it up, you will have to come and explain yourself before a court of law. And there have been cases like that. Yeah, so people, because a lot of people went to town, they started saying Peter Obi is this, Peter Obi is that. So it's good that he has offered that clarification.
Well done.